Welcome everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the science of reciprocity, and more importantly, how when you give with your unique gifts and superpowers and you give them freely, that it's going to create unexpected returns for you. Now, this is something that might completely transform how you think about giving, especially if you are busy with life and maybe feeling overwhelmed or stressed. Maybe you're a parent or an entrepreneur or an employee within your role. What I want to cover is this is an actual science that's going to show you that why giving freely without keeping any sort of a score actually will pay you back in ways that you could have never expected. So let me set the stage by asking you a few questions, make sure that this kind of resonates with you. Have you ever maybe held back from sharing knowledge or your time or support because you weren't sure what you might get back in return out of it? Or maybe you found yourself calculating the potential return before extending a helping hand to somebody else, or perhaps you feel like you just don't have enough time or enough energy or enough resources to give freely to others. If so, I get it. I have been there too. As I've been building a business, as I work with entrepreneurs, as I work with individuals now in helping them to develop their gifts and superpowers and give more freely to others, I found myself in what I called this scarcity trap, where I was afraid that if I gave too much, I'd actually have nothing left for myself or for my loved ones. I worried that maybe I was being too generous and that would lead to maybe people taking advantage of my giving, or that I'd burn out from giving without any sort of a boundary that I had. But here's what actually started to change everything for me when I discovered that generosity, and as I gave, it isn't a one-way street that just leaves you feeling depleted. It was actually this kind of a powerful boost. It was a powerful loop. I call it the generosity loop, where what I gave actually started coming back to me in unexpected ways and in multiplied ways. This isn't just some sort of a feel-good philosophy. There's some fascinating science behind how the act of giving, when you give, it's going to trigger psychological and neurological responses that build trust, deepen relationships, and yes, can create real opportunities and real resources that flow right back to you. Now, I know this because my name's Jake Talbert. I'm the founder and author of this book called The GIVER Method. It is all about helping people to discover their gifts and superpowers, to give more freely, how to transform lives through generosity is what the subtitle is, so that you can actually take the framework that's within it and you can find those superpowers, you can create more impact, you can have a more fulfilled life, you can do all of those things. But it starts by giving. It starts with being a giver. Now, I'm going to put a link to the description for the book down in the description for the video. I recommend you go on Amazon, you get yourself a copy. It's going to be the best $10 you can invest in yourself this year. Now, if you're not ready to invest $10 in getting yourself a copy of the book itself, then I'll put a free resource for you. It's called The Giver's Roadmap that will help get you started down that path. Please take advantage of one of the two. I get nothing out of it other than knowing that you are starting your path down that progression to becoming a giver. All right? Now, today, what I want to share is I want to share these kind of steps and principles. It's really practical that are going to help you to break free from a scarcity mindset that's been holding you back from your giving, and show you how you can activate this natural cycle of abundance that's just waiting for you, whether you're a busy parent juggling family life, or an entrepreneur trying to grow your business, or maybe just an employee looking to make a bigger impact at work. By the end of this video, I want you to understand why the most successful and fulfilled people aren't those who hold tightly to what they have, but they're actually those who master the art of giving freely. And you're going to have these practical steps to start experiencing this for yourself, even if you feel like you barely have enough time to get through your day. Because I get it, as any of those groups, parents, entrepreneurs, employees, that you feel like you're limited on time, but I want to empower you with all these things that are going to help transition that for you. Cool? Before we dive in real quick, of course, if you are new here, please hit subscribe, ring that bell for notifications, like the video. You can comment along the way, anything that you agree or disagree with me on. I'd love to hear what people's thoughts are. You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, or at thegivermethod.com. I'll put a link to all the social channels, the website, all that down in the description, along with the book and that free resource, okay? Now, let's go ahead and dive in and get this ball rolling. The first one that I want to dive into, that I kick everything off with, is something that's real, very real to me. If you want to build trust, deep trust quickly, then start by giving without expecting anything in return. It's called, I call this trust accelerator effect, okay? It works because generosity, when it's genuine and not transactional, tells people that they can count on you. That it shows that you're consistent, value-driven, and that you're in it for more than just a short-term gain, which in this world, there's so much of that out there. And here's really the wild thing is there's true science behind this, that when you give freely, your brain and theirs, the person receiving it, they release oxytocin, which is part of the trust hormone that develops trust within your brain. That one small act, it's going to trigger something so much bigger, and that's connection. And people don't always realize it like consciously, but they feel it, and that feeling, it sticks with you. You become someone who they want to support, that they want to work with, or simply be around. So like, how do you do this without overthinking it or overdoing it? Like, look, just go for these no strings attached moments. Give your time and your attention in ways that clearly you aren't trying to get anything back. If you're a parent, like, offer a hand to another family just because. If you're an entrepreneur, share something helpful with someone who isn't like a lead. Gosh, if you're in like a 9-to-5 world and you're rolling through things, like, help a teammate out with something like that doesn't align with any sort of a like recognition that you're going to get. And then you can go one step further. Practice these preemptive givings that you can do, where you offer help without someone asking. Like, how do we do it before they come to you for that thing? So that alone is going to signal awareness and care that they'll recognize in their brain. Maybe you see a friend struggling, you text them something encouraging. Maybe you send a podcast to a client just because it made you think of them. Maybe whatever it is, these little touches, they build reputation faster than a pitch ever could. Like this, it's so important because it builds trust, and trust is a foundation of every opportunity that's going to truly last. When people trust you, like especially on a deeper level, doors are going to open. They will think of you when you're not in the room. You get invited into the rooms that you didn't even know existed, not just because you hustled harder, but because you showed up generously. That's the kind of influence that sticks. It starts with giving first. Now, the second principle or step that I want to cover, because here's the truth. Most people will tend to miss this, but giving isn't just about the one-off moments. Like, the real magic of it comes when you create a rhythm of generosity that builds itself, like in what I call this abundance momentum method. So the AMM, or whatever you want to look at it as. When you show up consistently, even in the smallest ways, you're going to build the kind of momentum that just starts doing all of the heavy lifting for you. This works because the more you give, the more it becomes who you just naturally are, not something that you have to ever think about. Psychologists, they call it that you're integrating with your identity. But the simple version is just generosity becomes part of your second nature. When that happens, you stop fighting the voice that says well, I don't have the time, or what if this doesn't come back to me, or how are they going to accept this? You just give and you stay in motion, and even better, that motion spreads. Generosity is contagious when it gets out there. People see how you show up, they're going to respond to that. Maybe not directly, maybe not right away, but they do. And that ripple effect has a way of circling back to you when you least expect it. So start small. Send a helpful article to someone, make an introduction, give someone a shout out that needs it. These micro moments that should take a minute to maybe 5 minutes at most, they just keep you in the flow. And then you start to think about how you can give in ways that help more than one person at a time. Maybe it's sharing a solution with your whole team at work that can use. Maybe it's recording a voice note to your audience and the answers questions that many people have. Just build it into your day. Link your giving to something that you already do, like sending out one kind message during your morning coffee, or sharing a useful idea during each meeting. These little cues keep you consistent with it, even when your schedule feels like there's chaos in there. And so this principle matters because without that momentum, giving is going to start to feel like a chore. And when it becomes part of your day and you just move through life with that way, generosity stops draining you and it fuels you. And that's when things really start to shift for you. Now, the third thing is one of the biggest reasons why we hold back from giving, and it's the fear that we just don't have enough to offer. That we're giving is going to leave us drained, especially if it's giving in a place where we don't feel so comfortable. But here's a shift. What if the most impactful way you could give actually came from what you already, just already flows naturally from you? Now, this, that's what this principle, this third thing's all about. When you give from your natural strengths, the gifts, the superpowers you have, the stuff that you're doing without even thinking about it, you don't get burnt out. You actually get lit up. Research shows that when you use those natural strengths, those gifts, those superpowers, it activates you into that place, that flow state, right? Where you feel fully engaged and fully energized. That means that giving in these areas actually boosts your energy instead of depleting them. So what's wild is that the things that are no big deal to you might be exactly what other people need. We know for a fact there are people out there in the world who need exactly what you can offer and your unique perspective of that, because you're the only person who has that combination of strengths and history and story and background and struggles they've been through to provide that to them, right? So the stuff that you're going to do that is just autopilot to you, like that's going to be gold to other people. So instead of maybe forcing yourself to give in a way that feels hard, like start giving in ways that feel naturally you. And so just start by finding like, what are my effortless, like, what are my excellent zones that I have? What do people come to you for? What do you solve, for other people that they struggle with? Like, where are those places? Because that's going to be your sweet spot. This is where something like the GIVER method and the resources in it are going to be so incredibly impactful. For a parent, it might be just like, how do I calm the chaos? Or it might be that I'm really good at storytelling. As an entrepreneur, maybe it's you're really good at vision or strategy. If you're an employee, maybe you've got some organization ideas or problem solving that other people haven't thought of. So start by then giving in those areas. Say yes to the things that you can use your natural abilities in and say no to the rest. Like if you're helping your kid's school, like pick something that plays into your strengths. If you're mentoring someone, like do it in a space you're confident in. Like that way, no matter what, you stay energized while making an impact. And so this is so important because giving, it makes your giving so much more sustainable. Like you're not sacrificing your energy, you're actually fueling it. Giving becomes something that fills you up, not something that drains you in any way. And over time, it becomes a natural and effortless extension of who you just naturally are. Now, as we position or transition into our fourth one, I want to talk about one of the best kept secrets about generosity. The more you give, the more relationship equity you are going to build. I call it like you have a relationship bank account. Every time you give, whether it's help, time, encouragement, connection, you're making these little deposits into your account. And over time, those deposits add up to something super powerful. It isn't something that's like, so it's not about keeping score by any means. It's about just showing up consistently. The people around you feel it, even if they can't always name it. And that builds what psychologists start to call like social capital that you have. And so that's a reserve of the trust and goodwill that kicks in when you need it the most. Now, here's the real kicker, like that return often shows up in ways that you totally wouldn't have expected. It could be a referral when you're struggling with something. It could be support in life when life throws you a curveball. It could be opening a door you didn't even know existed. Like to make this sort of a thing real in your life, stop thinking about the transactions and just thinking about them as investments. Don't ask like, what do I get out of this? Instead, like, how can I strengthen my community, my network, my friends, my family? For a parent, that might be, helping out another family with unexpected, without expecting anything back from them. As an entrepreneur, it might be offering some insights without giving a sales pitch or pushing someone somewhere else because you're not necessarily the best fit for them. Or if you're working within a larger organization, it could be lending a hand to a teammate with, maybe when it's even outside of your lane. Like you can find all these ways to diversify your deposits. Some days, maybe it's emotional support. Other days, maybe it's introductions or sharing resources or just checking in. What matters is that you just keep going in the small and regular ways. A quick message, a 10-minute call, that kind gesture, like these deposits matter and they're all super small things that you can do. Now, it helps you to reframe your giving as like that long game. When you build strong relationships through those consistent generosity, you never truly are alone. You're surrounded by people who have felt your support and are more than willing to return the favor even when you don't see it coming. Now, the fifth one, like let's talk about the thing that, that really trips up so many good-hearted people. And that's giving until you feel burnt out. I've been there. I get it. Whether you think I'm a good-hearted person or not, I've been there. If you've ever said yes when you're already stretched so thin, like that feeling. But the truth is the generosity, like when you do it without any sort of a boundary, that doesn't help anyone for the long haul. That's why boundary giving, like having a boundary given framework comes into play. Boundaries, they're not walls, they're actually just guardrails. They protect the energy so that you can keep showing up fully. So don't think of it like a wall protecting you, like keeping you from doing something. Think of it like the guardrails when you're bowling. Like when I go bowling with my kids, we use the guardrails. Like the ball's still going to progress down the lane. It might not be at a high rate of speed, but it's going to progress forward, eventually get to the pins. I know it's not going to lead to failure by going into the gutter. it's that same sort of an idea. It keeps you showing up fully. Like, research backs this up in so many ways. Givers, anybody who becomes a giver, who say yes to everything, are more likely to burn out, and they are less effective and they are giving without any sort of intention. So saying no, it's not selfish. It's actually a strategic move that you can do. And when you give from a place of focus rather than depletion, the quality of the contribution goes up as well. You're not as scattered. You're not running on fumes. You're present and thoughtful, and you bring your very best to the table. Now, here's once again how we start to make that real and set yourself up, for success. Like, you want to have those giving guardrails. That means knowing when and how and who to give to in the ways that work for you. Parents might decide they're available to help others only on certain days and not all the time. Entrepreneurs might set up designated times for answering questions instead of being constantly accessible. Employee at a company might define the kind of support they need or that they can offer without letting it derail them from their own work. These are all perfectly fine things to do. You can also align your giving with your energy. Notice when you feel like the most generous, like if you're feeling energized or tapped out. Use this sort of awareness to decide when you can give and when you can't, and then practice saying no with kindness. You might have a shared resource offer a different time. You might point them to someone else that could help. Like, it's still being generous, but it's just more sustainable. And it matters because this giving, it should lift you up, not drain you. So the boundaries let you show up in a way that's super healthy and consistent and allows you to create deeper impact. And that's how you make that generosity last. Now, our sixth point, a lot of people think that they just don't have time to give meaningfully. But the truth is that most of us, most of the impactful acts of generosity, they only take a few seconds. That's the heart of that micro, moment connection I talked about, is those tiny interactions. The kind word, the quick check-in call, a thoughtful message, that can ripple out further than you think. Research actually shows that short positive interactions actually boost trust and connection just as much as if you had a super long conversation with somebody. The micro moments light up parts of the brain that big acts of generosity do as well. And they're easier to fit into your real life, which makes them way more sustainable. The best part is that you already have these moments built into your day. A quick hello in the hall, transforming that a little bit more. That first minute of a meeting, the school drop-off, the message, a message between calls, they're going to be all chances for you to give with presence because you're already there. So put it into practice. Start noticing, where are the brief touch points that I can give in my daily routine? Could I be more intentional about how I greet my kids in the morning? Or can I give someone my more full attention during a meeting? Can I send a quick note of encouragement to a friend, a family member, a teammate? It's not about doing more, it's just about being fully present, even for a few seconds. And when you show up with genuine care, even briefly, it sticks, it adds up, and it proves that meaningful generosity doesn't have to take over your entire schedule to make a real difference. Now, throughout this video, we've covered a lot, from the understanding of how to give, being it's going to accelerate trust, to how to take generosity and make it a part of your core identity. But what matters most isn't what you learned, it's about what you actually start to do differently starting today. The science behind all this is super clear. Giving freely isn't a path to depletion, it is that powerful springboard to abundance and energy and fulfillment. When you share your knowledge, your attention, your support, and connections without keeping score, you're going to activate that natural reciprocity that returns value, often in unexpected ways and in multiplied ways. I say that when you give of your gifts and superpowers freely to the right people, the universe always has a way of paying you back. It's a given. It will always find a way to pay you back. So I encourage you to start small. Pick maybe one principle from the video today that's going to resonate with you. Maybe it's micro moments throughout your day. Maybe where you can add value. Perhaps it's finding what your specific what are your natural strengths at and that energize you, and find the ones that deplete you and focus more on the ones that energize you. Or maybe it's simply becoming more aware of how that reciprocity is already operating in your own life. Whatever you choose, remember that the generosity loop starts with just one small step. You don't have to wait until you have more time or more energy or more resources to do that. You can begin right now, right where you are, no matter how busy you are, with what you already have, and trusting that when you give freely, it's going to just return to you in ways that you could have never imagined. Now, if you found this value, like if you found this approach valuable, if you found some good insights here, then once again, I'm going to encourage you to go onto Amazon, use the link below, go get access to the Giver Method book. It's going to change your life. Or go down and click on the free download and go ahead and sign up for the free resource, the Giver's Roadmap. Like, there's going to be all of these amazing ways that you could take those things and put very specific practices into place for parents, entrepreneurs, someone working a 9-to-5, like, and how you can implement them as a part of your busy life. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these resonated with you the most? Which one of these things are you going to put into practice this week? Like, go ahead and share it with me. It also can sometimes be the thing that inspires others to take action as well. If you know anybody else that could use this video, share it with them. We love it when people give in that sort of a way as well. Thank you for being here. Remember, the most valuable things in your life, trust, connection, opportunity, and meaning, like, they can't be hoarded or protected. And you may not think that you're doing that, but in most cases you are. They can be developed through the courageous act of just giving first without any sort of a guarantee of return. But you know with confidence that when you do that, it will come back to you in its own way and in its own time, and in some cases as a multiplied return. With that, I'll just say keep giving, keep growing, keep developing yourself. You're only a few steps away from having a massive transformation in your life, so utilize the resources available to you, like the ones down in the description. Till next time, give freely, watch what's going to return to you. We'll catch you on our next video. Have a great rest of your day.